I'm going to have to cut this section up because this is going to be rough, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What do you think about this whole, what is it? This Andrew Tate thing that's taking off.
Oh wait, I don't know what it is.
You don't know Andrew Tate?
I know Andrew Tate, but like the whole
just that whole
pizza order.
Like, stop telling men that they're toxic. Stop. Let men be masculine. Let them have their balls back, kind of thing. Whatever.
I mean, I never took the balls. I don't want them. You can have them, but just like keep them over there, right? Like, this is a natural backlash to, and it's funny because it's not like women's empowerment. It's just equality. Like, no, we just want kind of like.
What do you think the original feminism was? Like, this new modern one, I'm kind of trying to figure out how I'd view it, but the original one, like the 60s, 70s, that version.
To be honest, I don't know that much about it, so I don't know. I can I have a well.
I mean, me either,
opinion. But I mean, think about it. Like in the 70s, women were hardly allowed to have credit cards in their own name,
right? Or
and like earn an income. But then I think what happened is like they fought for equality in the workplace, but equality in the home didn't catch up at the same time. So then you got to like our generation, which we were told like you can have a career, you can have a like an income, you can have retirement accounts, like you can have this financial stability, but you also have to go home and do literally the same amount of housework as your like prior or your predecessors who.
Right. So you basically a stay-at-home mom and also go have the career, the college, the babies.
Exactly. And that's where this whole term, the second shift, gets coined, because the first shift is going out during your day and earning your income. And the second shift is when you get home and you have to now do all the domestic labor too. So like, that's kind of why I think that this current wave, very interesting social media too, right? Because like we're seeing people say like, no, that's not okay, or that's not right, or and honestly, it's like there's so many people on TikTok that are just like, I'm sorry, if you as a man aren't interesting, and then you have to be interesting outside of like earning an income, which a lot of guys think that that's where things start and end, and it's like you actually need to understand. And there's a lot of women. I mean, there's that research. I had lunch with a friend recently, and she's in her 40s.
Oh yeah, you don't know anything about this, right? Go ahead.
I mean, I don't know anything about 60s and 70s feminism, but I will talk all day about that. But like, you look at the data, and the group of people that have historically been the happiest are single women in their 40s and 50s. Either they've been divorced, and single and childless women top the list.
Yeah, there's a big argument about whether women want to be with child or without a child.
Yeah. I mean, I
don't know why it matters, but.
Well, my perspective on this is the following with children, whether or not people should have children. I love my children to death, and I knew that I wanted to be a mother since day one.
Yeah.
It is the hardest fucking thing I have ever done, and I want to run away regularly. On the regular, like I just want to be like, I'm done now.
Yeah.
I've gone as far as I can go. I'm going to sell myself to the circus. I'm not even you guys. And so to do that and not know that you wanted it is absolutely a no-go. Like precisely zero. So if you know that, or if you're on the fence.
I think women, I think women for the most part kind of know, like the same way that some women like have had their wedding planned out since they were 5 years old. There are some women that never even thought about what their wedding was going to look like.
Yeah.
And because like me personally, I have never planned any wedding. I didn't see a dress in my near future. So I just was like, no. And also too, I never played pretend being a mom either. You know what I mean? That wasn't my thing either. I knew that like when she came to me and she was like, I want to be a mom. I was like, okay, I want to be a mom too. My thing is I don't want to push it out. So if you would like to push it out,
right,
that's fine.
More power to you.
I'm happy to, like, I could have gone, like, I was one of those weird ones where I could have went either way. Like I could have lived a whole life with her with no kids and a bunch of dogs, or now we have this beautiful baby boy because she always knew she wanted to be a mom.
Yeah.
So I think there's different, but it's not easy. And I did not push him out. So I don't know how because just the natural bond between kid and mom is like Like, he loves me to death. He'll come jump on me all day. We'll go jump off stuff and like whatever. But at the end of the day, like when he's tired, sick, sad, he wants mom. Like he wants mom's chest to lay on and cuddle and hug and whatever. If she's not home.
Right. But in a different way.
But in a, like it's not the same.
Yeah.
That same connection.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I know a lot of couples where the dad is much more nurturing and like in that energy than the mom is. And so the kids will go I mean, even with my kid's dad, like there are some things that they want to talk out with him because he'll like, you know, oh, what's this? What's that? Whereas I just get angry. I'm like, who the fuck is this kid? Let's go up to his house and throw some eggs. And they're like, Mom, calm down. And I'm like, all right, I just want to know.
Yeah, you do have that energy. You always did used to run around with us and like mess
go fuck shit up. Yeah. I know. It's no. I mean, I will tell you in terms of like pushing children out, that's the easy part, right? Like raising them.
Oh,
that's when
I don't know. Colleen, when she pushed him out, she had been in labor. She went into labor at like 3:00 in the afternoon, and we didn't even know it was labor. It was like her hip hurt or something. We didn't even know.
Yep.
And then we did the wobble at the hospital to get it out. So we're in the hallway playing the wobble and doing the dance to try to like make her water break, which it didn't. And then when she actually did start pushing, I think she pushed like 3 times and he came out. It wasn't, it wasn't as I expected it to be like way more gruesome, I guess, than it was. I don't know why.
I mean,
I
that's
watched
pretty
many movies.
Yeah. What time was he born?
3 a.m.
Oh, wow. So that was pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. And he like, girl, when his head came out. And
does your wife want you talking about this on the podcast?
Yeah, I talk about it to everybody that will listen to me.
Right, but on the podcast.
Yes, everybody.
Complete strangers can access this on YouTube.
Yes, I've said it in the deli. I don't know how many times to I don't know how many people. So
okay, yeah. I just want to. Yeah.
Oh no, it's fine.
Okay.
When his head came out, and her and the doctor and the only other nurse that was in there was like, okay, take a break. And the doctor's like stretching out in the chair.
Yep.
And the nurse is like stretching out. I still have her one leg like this. Right. And the nurses, and she's like, Garrett, let go of me. Let go. And like she leans back and I'm looking at a head.
Right. You're like,
it doesn't look like the color it's supposed to look.
No, I mean, they look like little aliens, right? They don't look like actual. It was like,
just stuff.
Right. No, it's not pretty. It's not a pretty process. It's a very violent process.
How do they not show you? They do not show you this in health class. I feel like if they showed.
Because then we would never have children. They were like, Nope.
They wanted to stop like high school pregnancy or whatever. Show them that. That will stop it. I mean, they'll forget about it by the time they're in their 20s. Christ. But that was insane.
Yes.
Yep. I don't know how y'all do it. I don't know how you did it twice, but good on you.
Oh my God. No, like 2 weeks before. So my son was my second kid.
Because his head had to be huge when he came out.
He wasn't that big actually.
Really? It was her?
I didn't make him big.
Oh, all right.
I fattened them up later. Yeah. I was also scared to death of having a C-section because my mom had a C-section and just had she'd had a secondary infection afterwards. And we were in the hospital and she went into it wasn't septic shock, but it was pretty bad. And I just remember seeing my mom on this bed after the cesarean section and being like, I wonder if I'm going to say goodbye. So that memory, I mean, as soon as I got pregnant, I went to my doctor's office and I was like, what do I do to avoid having a C-section? And she was like, these exercises, this nutrition, you should be only gaining this amount of weight. And I was on it. I was so regimented because I was.
Did you lose weight in the beginning in your first time? You did too?
I did. I lost weight. And then I actually think I lost my body weight, but I was eating so much healthier and doing so much better with myself, frankly, that I think it kind of all evened out.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I was so paranoid about having a C-section because just it's major fucking surgery, right? And I had heard from so many people these stories, and not to say that there aren't people who have C-sections and they're absolutely fine. And my doctor kept on reminding me that, look, if you have to have a C-section, chances are you're probably going to be fine. But I was so paranoid about that. And then with my daughter, my labor went so quickly. I was like, I would like the drugs. I would like the drugs. This is the humane way to have these children. I would like the drugs. When you go to the dentist, right? You're not like, I want to be all natural, pull this tooth, right? Like that was my state of mind. No disrespect to anyone who wants to do it anyway. It's your labor. You get to be the one that feels how you want to feel about however it went. But we get to the hospital. My water broke at like 6 a.m. I'm not feeling a damn thing. I'm just walking around. We watched the Yankees game, ate something. My doctor calls me at 5 o'clock. She's like, so what's going on? I'm like, I don't know. I don't really feel anything. And she's like, okay, so if nothing happens at 6 a.m. tomorrow, show up at the hospital. And I was like, all right. At around 8:30, I'm like, oh, what's that? That hurts. I was like, okay. And by that time, my parents and like literally the caravan had rolled into town. Just another thing of being in a Latin family. So literally
everybody was there.
Up. Oh my God. And at 8:30, and my mom's like, why don't you eat something? Because if this is like rolling, then you'll have something in your stomach. So I remember I ate a steak sandwich. I remember it so clearly. And then at 10 o'clock was the next cramp or the next contraction. And I jump in the shower. My dad drives us to the hospital in the minivan with literally there's 8 of us in this freaking minivan because we can't go anywhere alone.
I do think, yeah, I can see that.
And by that time, now my contractions are 5 minutes apart, literally in the span of from 10 to 10:30, like that, it already quickened up. And I go upstairs, I get admitted. I'm getting the paperwork done and she's asking me these questions and I literally have to brace myself on the counter because these contractions are coming. They're now between 3 to 4 minutes apart. By the time I get into triage, they're 3 minutes apart regularly. And they're like, oh, it's your first time. It's not going to be it's not going to happen so quickly. It's just going to progress. By the time I got to the hospital, it was 5 centimeters. And then in the next hour and a half, I dilated completely to 10.
Oh.
And I was like, no, this is happening now. And they were like, I'm sure first timers always say that. And I was like, so then I'm dying. Either this baby is coming now or I'm dying. One of those two. And so that stage of active labor happened. It was 3 hours long. It was not long at all. And then they brought me back into the bed. And I remember I was I felt like I was being ripped open from the inside. And the nurse was like, don't scream. And I was like, what the fuck should I be doing then? I was like, you need to get the anesthesiologist here now. And so then the anesthesiologist rolls in her little cart and the resident's like, all right, let's check to see how you're doing. And so the anesthesiologist is waiting there. I will never forget. She's got her hands on the cart and she's to my right. And obviously the resident is right ahead of me. And she's like, no, you're 10 centimeters. You're ready to go. And the anesthesiologist doesn't miss a beat and just turns her cart around. And I'm crying. There are tears coming down my face. I have an oxygen mask on because
you pushed her out with nothing.
No, not willingly. And I was like, tell her to come back. Tell her to come back. She needs to come back. Tell her to come back. I'm freaking the fuck out because I'm like, I'm not mentally prepared to do this without drugs. You don't understand. I can't do this. You need to bring her back in here. I am not doing this. So yeah, my first birth was
said not willingly.
Not willingly.
But
no.
Did you actually do it though?
Yes. I had no choice. I had no choice. It was just happening.
Oh my God.
You don't know how strong you are until you don't have another choice. And so I pushed that child out and I was like, ooh, I never want to do this again.
Colleen tried. Once they broke her water and she felt the first couple contractions, she was like, nope, give it to me right now.
Oh yeah.
And then when the anesthesiologist came in, she was like, I was like, okay. And I was standing there with her and she was like, no, we'll brace her. You go over there and look at that wall on the other side of the room because you don't want to see this.
Yeah. Yep.
And I was like, what do you? And Colleen was like, just go.
Do we need to ask you again?
I was like, okay.
Get the fuck away.
So I ran over to the wall and faced the wall in the corner like I was in trouble at school or something and just waited for it to be done.
They're
so that I was like, whatever you
partners
want.
pass out.
That's what they said.
Yeah, people pass out all the time.
I was like, I can't pass out. She'll kill me.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I'm not worried about my health, but I will be murdered.
I will be murdered.
Yep.
Yep. But yeah, that's crazy.
God. No, for my second, we got to the hospital. My water broke again at 6 a.m.
Well, he must have slid out. Doesn't the second one come even?
Oh, well, no, I mean, this was a day at the spa, quite frankly. This was nothing. And of course, me, because I'm such a humble person. I was like, don't worry, he'll be here so soon and I won't need medication, right? And then like 11 o'clock came and my contractions were like, I started feeling them earlier. So they were like once every 10 minutes or so. And by 11 o'clock, I was like, all right, okay. So if this baby's not here by 1, I'm getting an epidural. And I got the epidural and it was amazing. And I napped.
You napped?
Oh my God. And my father and my kid's dad were in the room. And I was like, you all need to stop talking or get the fuck out because I need to sleep. And then I remember feeling the baby's head like ready to go. And and I was like, I need a little more time. And I went back to bed.
Can you tell?
Yeah.
Like when they're right there?
Oh yeah. I mean, with my daughter, I was in so much pain that like,
oh, you didn't really?
I couldn't, you could have told me that my legs were on fire and I would have been like, right.
I don't know.
Yeah. You've been like, I like don't have any idea. But with him, I wasn't feeling anything. So I was like,
you could feel him.
I could feel the baby crowning. And
oh, that's cool.
And I told the nurse that my labor and delivery nurse was amazing. Mary from St. Luke's Roosevelt. You were amazing. And she's like, do you feel the baby's head? And I was like, mm-hmm. And I was like, but I want to sleep for like 10 more minutes. And she's like, okay. She was like, okay. And then after that, like 3 minutes of pushing and he was out. And I was like, oh,
I think that's about, what little G was.
Oh my God.
But when he started crowning, well, Colleen's didn't work. Her epidural didn't work.
Oh my God.
It didn't matter how much that they.
Oh God, no.
It was like every 20 minutes, she was just agonized. Like it was. God. But when he started crowning, she was like, nope, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Cut me open. I'm not doing it.
Just
and I was like,
and
I'm like looking at this baby's head, like pop out, go back in, pop out, go back in. And I'm like, I don't think you have a choice.
I'm to do it.
He's at liftoff. Like
Yeah. Like
we're gonna have to go now.
It's gonna happen.
And like,
no, when you're at that point, I mean, if someone had said, listen, we can get this baby out without any pain, but we're going to have to take your right arm. I would have been like, I guess I'll just have to learn how to write lefty. Like it would have been such an easy conversation. And I remember when I made the decision to get the epidural with Andy, his dad was sitting there with the phone. He was like, let me just look up to make sure that like, like what you're getting into with the side effects of the epidural. And I literally said to him, I was like, if you want to see your child, put the phone away. Put the fucking phone away. I'm getting the epidural. And he was like, okay.
Did he want you to do it without one?
He just wanted me to be aware
of what
I was asking for in case there were side effects that I wasn't.
Sometimes, you know, ignorance is bliss.
Yeah. No, I was like, I don't care if the side effects are you're going to be growing green hair out of your face. Like I don't care if the side effects was like, you will never be able to eat bacon again. Or like whatever contract, whatever the terms were never going to be bad enough.
Oh my God. I'm so scared of that tick that makes it so you can't eat pork. I will not.
My dad has that.
I have not gone into the